So, as some of you may or may not know, I'm on a podcast every Friday called the Nidus Network. And last week we were talking about, some good games that have been played. And somebody brought to my attention that there is a thread out there called the 10 most epic games that you didn't see cast at MLG Columbus. So I decided I was going to go check those out, and I found well, actually 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 games. Imagine that, from the 10 most played or most epic games that you did not see cast. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to cast some of those because people haven't seen them and they're epic. And so this one is going to be between xiGerbil, the Zergy player right here. Hello, Mr. Red Zerg. And over here we have vGEroSennin. I'm going to call him xiGerbil. Pretty cool name. And he is going to be the blue Protoss. This is going to be on Metalopolis. And of course it's MLG, so we have these little metalopolis here at the bottom of the ramps. And it looks like xiGerbil is going to be scouting the correct way right away. Going to see xiGerbil and be like, hello, xiGerbil, with all of your furry little companions that are mining for you. Oh, so cute. xiGerbils are cute. And meanwhile, xiGerbil, no reason to hide his overlord, is just going to be like, well, you know where I am, so I'm going to see everything you're doing. And he is indeed going to see it. So, like I said, top 10 most epic games that you didn't see at MLG Columbus. And let me tell you, there were some epic games at Columbus, for those of you who did not know. I believe this one was played in the open bracket. And yeah, so they didn't get all of theirs cast, but this one apparently is pretty good. So haven't seen it yet, but I am hoping for quite an amazing game because it did make the top 10 list, so it should be epic. And for all of you out there, if you managed to somehow see this game, even though it wasn't cast, then don't spoil it for everybody else. And for me, shh, keep your mouth shut until the game is over, and then we can all discuss it together. Okay, looks like xiGerbil doing an extractor trick on one of his extractors and not on the other one, so pretty interesting there. And this probe has been doing a little bit of harassment type stuff, poking around on the minerals, very Huck style, but he managed to grab some minerals, so now he's just going to sit here and delay the expansion as long as he can, which is not going to be that long because there are zerglings out, and that is what happens when you get pool and then gas. You're able to get zerglings, or if you go gas and then pool, you're still able to get zerglings before the expansion goes down, so it goes up super safe and it cannot be harassed. Meanwhile, these two zerglings are on a mission to kill this probe. Probe is like, I didn't know shoplifting was that big of an offense. It's only 5 minerals, guys, goodness. But apparently these guys take shoplifting very seriously, and so they are going to be running down and administering the beatdown to this probe as he runs back to his homies in the hood and tries to get away without actually, getting caught by the Popo. But oh, looks like he's going to be moving back around, and the Popo going to be following him with their sirens. And gunshots going off, but it looks like he's going to run back into the main and see exactly what he can see. Boom! Oh my goodness. And killed with a combination of a couple of traffic cops and the queen of the Zerg players, because I can't think of anything else that would be smart, so I'm just going to stop. Okay, so we have speed going down, as well as it looks like the warp gates being corona boosted out. We also have, looks like sentries going to be being made, so going to be pretty sentry heavy early, which is a style that's favored by a lot of Protoss, actually, because those force fields are just so good. And if you're building sentries or buying them, then you want to get them as early in the game as possible so they can get the maximum amount of energy, so you can throw down those extra forcey fields. You see there is one zealot out, and that's just so he can tank the damage and deal some damage to these guys. Anyway, it looks like Protoss is going to be looking to fast expand as well. Behind it looks like 2 gateways. And he has the money, and boom, force field. That's a big force field. Nexus goes down, and so xiGerbil continuing to pump out sentries, and Warp Gate just now finishing. I believe speed is done as well. No, it's not. It's just about to be done, though, if you look up here where I should have looked. Ding, there we go. Now it's done. And a couple of queens being produced for xiGerbil. It looks like he has 1 queen already, 2 queens already, so he's going up to 4 queens. Wow, that's a few. That's a lot of queens, but queens never bad because you can spread these creep tumors. They're also good against any kind of early harassment, whether it be air or ground. They are a good response. So queens pretty good. Oh, and transfuse is good too. Yeah. Talk to Spinishua about that one. He likes it quite a bit. Okay, so it looks like both geysers have been taken for xiGerbil, which is, you know, pretty standard, especially because he's getting a ton of sentries, and those are pretty gas heavy. Couple of cannons going down as well, and another probe trying to scout. This probe is going to have far less luck than his brother probe, because the Popo now have, you know, scooter bikes, and they're able to speed around at twice the speed they normally did. So cannons finishing up, probes being transferred, and a couple of zealots, and by a couple I mean 1 and 5 sentries holding down like bosses. Another gateway going down, robo going down. So xiGerbil trying to be very, very safe here. Get some stalkers as well. And what do we have over here? We have, oh my goodness, we have four queens over here, and 2. So he has 6 queens right now. My goodness, that's a lot of queens. Roach Warren going up. And it looks like he's also getting ventral sacks and the something carapace. How do you pronounce that? A few minutes. Let me know in the comments how you pronounce that so I can pronounce it correctly in the future. But he's getting Overlord speed and Overlord carry capacity. So his Overlords are going to be transports in the very near future. And also they're going to be speedy. They're going to be able to wave their tentacles twice as fast and thus propel themselves through air or space or whatever else. Don't worry, it works even if it's in space. By waving things, you can actually move faster. Looks like Hallucinate going down, as well as a Robo Bay for xiGerbil. So he's going to be going for some Colossus, and also he wants to get some good scouting in with Hallucinated Phoenix, I would imagine, even though he has observers out. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Pylon going down in the smoke, always good. And of course, this Overlord chilling in the no man's land by the little blimp with the dancing Marines. So that's always good as well. Now let's see, what do we have going on? Yep, there's the Hallucinated Phoenix. We can go check out what's going on. If we take a look at the army tabs, we can see worker supply wise they're actually very, very, very close. And oh, there's a good Hallucinated Phoenix doing some good scouting. And look at this, it looks like, oh my goodness, he could be doing a drop possibly, and so many queens too. So it's going to be a queen roach drop. Are you kidding me? Army supply favoring xiGerbil by quite a bit, although worker supplies are even. And this could be really effective because there are some stalkers here. Nice by xiGerbil to just go ahead and, well, he did scout it, so I guess that makes sense. And here they come, but they're not going to go that way because that's where you would expect him to be. Oh, goodness, and he's going to have to fall back a little bit. So he's trying to drop, but he can't actually do it right now. And, oh, man, look at xiGerbil doing such a good job of scouting. And he's getting out, looks like an Immortal right now. Protoss ground level, what? Protoss ground weapons level 1 is going down. Here comes the drop. Force fields going down all over the place, but tons and tons of units. You can see transfuses going off everywhere. That's what I was talking about earlier. Transfuse is so good. And with the transfusing, I mean, the Zerg just really is not losing any units. My goodness. And here come out the probes to defend. They have their tasers equipped, and they are going to be zapping away. And it looks like this queen is, actually, they're just going to straight up die. So, my goodness, what a drop. 113 supply versus 48 supply right now. xiGerbil taking a commanding lead and totally has destroyed the main base of xiGerbil. Look, that's going to be destroying the Robo Bay, going to be destroying pylons, unpowering warp gates. Could get the Nexus as well. Oh no, Cybernetics Core as well. Now, the one thing for Sennin is he does have a lot of buildings on the low ground, and you can see he's building a lot, so it looks like he doesn't plan on quitting just yet, but he is going to lose a ton of infrastructure as well as probes. If we look at the units lost, we can see 15 probes lost, and also 33 units compared to 12. So, I mean, xiGerbil in a commanding lead right now. My goodness. And it looks like he is going to get the Nexus as well, even picking up some of his units. Those are all queens, and he's going to take them back, transport them to safety. So it is 2 bases versus 1 bases at this point. The main has been gone, has been killed. And these roaches and this roach queen mix with the drop was just crazy effective. My goodness, and you do not see that every day, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, my mind is boggled. Boggled. Good game, by the way, Boggle. But yeah, man, so he's going to be moving his forces back into a more strategic position, I guess, although camping your opponent's main isn't too bad of a spot. But this is a pretty small area to attack down, which is probably why he doesn't want to do that. You can see the Protoss is trying to macro back up. He is Yeah, well, he's already saturated. Some of his probes are just they're so confused as to what just happened that they don't even want to work. So they're on strike, which is unfortunate because he does need all his probes to be working at the current moment. But he's a little bit under duress right now because he just lost his main. You can see there is a probe going back up and could try to retake it. Main is being retaken. So xiGerbil going to be taking his third at his first. And hopefully he's able to hang on to it this time. But that is a lot of roaches right now. If we look at the army tabs, we can see that army supply-wise, xiGerbil is up at 90 versus xiGerbil's 35. Also 54 drones versus 34 probes. So the Zerg is just in a commanding lead. Even Hydra is being mixed in right now. Burrow is done. He has an Overseer out, so he's just making sure he doesn't die to any kind of DT follow-up or anything. And look at this, taking a third as well is xiGerbil. So xiGerbil just is doing everything right at this point. And, I mean, at this point, it's really his game to lose. You can see 155 supply versus 75 supply. My goodness, is that a disparity. And now it's going to be some Overlords. They're going to be scouting. And the good thing about having Overlords scout after you've done something like this is he doesn't know if it's going to be, like, more roaches. It could very easily be more roaches as well. So he's going to have to respond accordingly by moving, never mind. There we go, by moving some of his units back up here. And, oh my goodness. Gonna be creeping everywhere. Oh, yuck. That's gross. That's gross, Overlord. That's gross. Protossers are all, you know, sophisticated and pretty and stuff and futuristic, and you're just creeping their base. Oh. Ah. Meanwhile, it looks like the creep tumors of xiGerbil going to be moving their way and making a little arrow pointing toward the Protoss base. Another hallucinated Phoenix coming out to see what is going on. And look at this. Looks like xiGerbil going to be expanding again, taking a fourth. And why not? He's up by 100 supply. I don't see why you wouldn't do that. But he has so many roaches at this point, I think he can just go ahead and smash his way through. I don't know. I think so. Stargate's out now for xiGerbil. And he is going to be getting some Void Rays because roaches not the best against Void Rays, although Queens do fairly well. Excuse me, my goodness. Ugh, somebody was just strangling me with a sneeze, and I managed to choke off. So, I am back. It's okay, guys. We will power through this. And what do we have going on now since I did my sneeze/yawn? It looks like it's just going to be more Void Rays getting out additional Immortals, and both of those units are pretty good against, against a drop of Hydras. Both those units are pretty good against roaches. We do have Roach Hydra, and look at this, catching the Protoss army out of position is the roaches, who are moving up all slow-like, but they're going to be able to do lots of damage. Good force fields going down to split them up a little bit, but we need more force fields. As the other sentries come down, we could actually see more force fields, and the Protoss units holding down like bosses, trying to do their damage. These Immortals are doing a ton of damage, my goodness, and it looks like, oh my goodness, it looks like xiGerbil is going to have to pull back, although he still is ahead by a little bit. The army supply was shrunken a little bit, not quite so far apart, which is hilarious because it's only like 70 food supply now as opposed to 100. So xiGerbil still has an amazingly big hole to climb out of, but little steps, baby steps, that is how it's done. You can see he's now only down by about 50 supply, so clawing his way back into it. The problem is there's 4 bases on 2 bases and so many more Queens coming out, and they all have full energy, so they are going to be good for transfuses, and it looks like he may just go ahead and attack lots of Hydras as well. My goodness, and here they come. Here comes the big attack, and you can see that there are transfuses going off everywhere. Good force fields going down, but force fields when you can't actually kill any units, not quite as good. One Queen does go down with some energy, so that's something. But I don't know. Oh, there goes the Void Ray. It goes down as well, and just it looks like xiGerbil is just getting overran again, and just look at all these Queens who started with full energy, have no energy left, and that means they were transfusing like madmen. There's the GG, and so xiGerbil takes it in deciding fashion, using transfuses as his main ability to take down the win. Oh my goodness, that was such a good game, and I'm no longer wondering why it made it in the top 10. It's just sad that it wasn't actually cast, but hopefully I did it justice by casting it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did. Thank you for joining me for another cast. I am Squiggles, and I will see you guys later.